Hi there, this is Tim Collins with Cullman Today. I'm in the offices of Sherry Brown, one of Cullman County's leading social workers, counselors, and healers. What struck me as very profound is you don't necessarily put yourself out as a healer or a doctor or even a counselor, really. You strike me as somebody who's restoring people. I guess we call it a restorationist.
Yes.
What in the world does that mean, and why is that different than a counselor or a healer?
Well, one of the things that went into choosing the name for my practice was restoration counseling. And oftentimes people tell me they're drawn to that term, restoration. And the reason I chose that is I didn't want just healing for people. I wanted restoration. And to me, restoration is a level that's even higher than healing. Restoration is restoring the 7 times what we were, because I can take this experience and I can be even more and even greater than I was when this started or this happened to me. So restoration is just this amped up level of healing that we can get to.
So if I make the decision to come visit you for professional help for whatever reason, it almost sounds like I can expect to get healing, but your goal for me, if I'm willing to follow along with it, is something far bigger and far more profound than just getting fixed. Let's say that I have an addiction to something.
Yes.
In Cullman County, there's a fair amount of people addicted to prescription or non-prescription drugs. And I realize that's a whole other realm because there's a chemical basis to it. But there's the mental emotional aspect. If I came to you and I'm seeking treatment physically someplace, how can you help me with the non-physical part of it?
Well, the non-physical part of it is addiction doesn't just occur one day. I tell people no one wakes up and decides I want to be an alcoholic or an addict. There's many layers, like peeling the layers from an onion, that go into that. And often that goes back to the earlier childhood experiences or other experiences in life or a need in us or a place in us that felt broken and was never healed. And I like to go to the place that's broken and let's build on from there. Oftentimes, though, in the moment of crisis, we have to do some coping to kind of get some strength established to be able to tackle, what happened before.
Well, continue on this example of an addiction. Let's make it more simple for somebody. Let's say they're addicted to a fairly common substance like alcohol, cigarettes, something of that nature, and they're functional. They may be a functional alcoholic or a functional smoker or something like that, but they make the decision that addiction is killing them. And maybe their doctor has told them, if you don't quit smoking or quit drinking, you're dead. Most people get motivated at that point.
Yeah.
Because it becomes not a recreational addiction, it becomes a possible death sentence.
Life or death.
Life or death. If a person comes to you in that state, mechanically, from the minute they walk in your door, can you break down and explain to me and whoever might be interested what you do and how you help them get from there to not being addicted and not being in a death sentence?
Well, that can be a long process.
Okay.
I don't know if that can be summed up real quick, but one of the things I do is I start talking to them and I listen a great deal as to where they are in that moment, and I challenge them to envision what life will look like without that. What will my life look like without this alcohol? What will my life look like without smoking? What will my life look like without these issues, and how have these issues contributed to my life state now? So we look at all that and then determine what are some changes I could see myself making. I really believe there's a type of therapy called client solution, client-focused solution, and I like to help people find solutions. And so we find solutions to cope and to get through this, and what do I want the future to look like? And then we start, what are my steps to get to that goal? And we just start taking steps.
I see. So what you do is, if someone's addicted to, say, alcohol, just quitting cold turkey is daunting.
It is.
And what it sounds like you're...
It's dangerous, too.
Yeah, it's dangerous. What you're saying is you're helping that person break this down into measurable, smaller, definable pieces, and it's like you're stepping them over a bridge rather than making them just jump over the bridge.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And, you know, one of the analogies about the bridge is, you know, if I'm afraid of bridges and I'm halfway across that bridge, it's just as easy to go ahead and cross on over that bridge as it is to back off. But if I back off, I've got that whole bridge in front of me to get back over. And so I've got that whole challenge again, and I'm right back stuck where I was. But if I'm in the middle of that bridge, I can even start to crawl. And I'm closer to the other side of that bridge than I was. And I think you'd mentioned in this particular example they were already seeking like addiction treatment and was coming to me for the emotional part.
Right.
So that would be addressing like the cold turkey thing and not detoxing yourself, which is highly dangerous. But I think, you know, in addition to the addiction treatment, the mind has to be in a state where they're ready for change. And readiness is a key thing that I really tackle. You know, am I ready? Am I willing? Will I do this?
Yeah, because without that, the chances of success are pretty limited.
That's right. Many years ago, I was a smoker. I tried a couple of times to quit, but when I finally decided to quit, I remember my mind was so made up, I will not smoke anymore. And when I got to that mindset, I was able to stop smoking. But I was not until I got there.
So if I hear what you're saying correctly, Sherry, regardless of the source of your addiction, whether it's drugs, common substances, a behavior, or an opinion, the starting point is determining that you want to be past it.
Yes.
And if you're not, you're probably not going to get past it. Can you offer guidance? I guess we're asking for free counseling here on a person who's getting close to that realm where they're saying, you know, I think I need to get past this. This is not helping me. I understand it's bad. How do you help them take that final step or two to say, okay, I'm ready to change?
Well, I really think no one can take that step or two for you. But I talk to them, you know, when I'm talking to them about what life will look like without the substance and everything, you know, I want to be asking them, you know, how motivated are you for change? How much have you hurt? What has it done to your life? When I work with people with addiction, you know, one of the things we look at with powerlessness and unmanageability is how has this affected my life? You know, how many marriages have I lost? How many jobs have I lost? Are my kids speaking to me? What has this cost me already? And how much more am I willing to let it, continue to charge me or cost me?
Gotcha. And what you just said, it's the first time I think I understood what you really mean by restoration. Mm-hmm. You're not talking about just quitting some substance and being better. You're talking about restoring your life in every area, it almost sounds like.
Yes. Yes, I think it's all intertwined, you know, the mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. That all of that's intertwined as being kind of complete, you know, or pulling everything together as a person. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to have that balance there, you know, to be able to move forward in life and to tackle things, because life is still going to throw things at us. You can come in here today and settle every issue that you've had, and that doesn't mean that life will not give you anything else to deal with.
Gotcha. One last question on this topic. Wanting to be restored spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and in the world around you. When you first say that, it sounds like a big chore. It's like, wow, that's too big.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. But I am 100% certain that there's a certain, perhaps small, but a certain percentage of people in Cullman County who get the concept of being restored completely. And that, I think, to me, that goes beyond being fully healthy. If those people exist out there, I think they do. Do you have a message for people who want to go all the way to really get themselves to their full God-given capacity? What would your advice be?
Take a leap. Do it.